Hey, I'm Joe Pici. Today we're going to be discussing the 9 essential skills for sales success. You know, it is so important that you watch this because sales have been lost. Let's look at the beginning. First thing we want to say is businesses have lost money, flat out. They've lost clients. There's been a decline. Businesses have imploded. They're looking for ways to recapture lost revenue. They're looking for ways to get back some of the clients they lost, but more so, they're looking to capture new clients. Second, when we look at business in general, okay, we're looking at such an implosion of businesses and, are new businesses starting? Well, according to Peterson, new businesses applications have surged in the U.S. since the beginning of COVID-19. Since March 2020 to March 2021, more than 500,000 new businesses have opened in the United States, taking the U.S. firm number to 5.33 million. What does that mean? That means new competition. Okay, it's a crowded market out there. There's so many new business starts, and they're crowding in on businesses that you used to have. New entrepreneurs forced into the workplace and new businesses. Folks, that's good and bad. Not every entrepreneur is ready to open up their own business. We're seeing just as many fail as we have seen start up. In fact, the average business today, 95% of startup businesses will not make it 5 to 8 years. And there's reasons for that. But a big reason is they have a great product, but they have weak sales. Quick story. Many years ago, I get a call from an engineer in Missouri. And he says, Joe, I've been working for the top engineering company in the United States. He said, I decided I want to open up my own shop. So we go through our process. I help him to understand that we specialize in helping businesses attract and retain quality clients. And he goes, no, I'm an engineer. I already know about clients. And I said, well, what is your capacity on a scale of 1 to 10 with selling? He says, well, what do you mean? I said, being able to craft the right messaging, being able to get in front of your target market, being able to convert a prospect to a paying client. He said, I've never done that. It's never been something I've done. I said, well, then keep your day job, because you'll be out of business. Are you going to invest money in this? He says, yeah. He says, I've got money saved. I'm ready to open up my own shop. He said, I'm ready to hire people. I said, if you don't have a sales process, a sales methodology, the skill for selling, you're not going to make it. To which he flies to Florida and spends a couple days with me. And in that couple days, on day 2, we actually started making live outbound calls, which he actually did not like. And his wife was in the room, and I said, you spent a lot of money. He booked enough business that one day that put him in 6 figures. Folks, selling is important. Why will this training help you? It's going to insulate your business against fluctuations in the economy. So important. Having consistency in business. It's going to help businesses and startups move to the next level. Wherever you are in business, whenever you start up, the goal is to get to the next level. And so that's what this training is going to do for you. It's going to help you identify gaps in your sales process. Everybody has gaps. And gaps are weaknesses. They're areas that, if you've ever done a SWOT analysis, you've got strengths, you've got weaknesses, you've got opportunities, and you have threats. Well, folks, the weaknesses are your gaps. And so if you're not aware of them, so this training is going to help you identify them. It's going to help you understand what you need to do to recapture lost revenue and gain momentum. Today, you will learn if it's time to fix or fire your sales team. Now, that sounds strong, but you might be the sales team. So you either fix your sales team or fix yourself, or you're going to have to fire somebody, or maybe you're going to have to do something different. The second thing is the role virtual selling plays in your sales process. It's important that we understand that. If no one sells, no one eats. The 2 elements over which you have no control, that's important. You need to know what are the things I don't control. Next is why clients leave you. If you've ever lost a client, you don't know why, we're going to show you why you lost that client. And it's important to know. You can't get them back if you don't know why you lost them. Next is how to increase productivity and eliminate busyness. That's important. Most people spend time in busyness and not productivity. We're going to illuminate you to what is productive versus what is busy. Next, why you can't count on charisma. I'm going to go into this because this is important. And next is how to avoid hiring mistakes. So these are the things you're going to get in this training. So let's get started. This model, so to speak, that we created is something we live with. This is our Bible on business. Every day I'm on this chart. And if you want to generate quality business and create consistency and ongoing clients, I recommend you really focus right now. This is what it's going to take. So let's look at the bottom here. That's clarity. Clarity is whether you're in a company or you're individually. Do you know what you want as an end result? Is it written down? Does everybody on your sales team know what the metrics are, what the numbers are, what you want to accomplish? The second thing is, do you have deadlines, timelines? Is everything being metric to end result on a timeline? So it's what is it that you want when? Most importantly, it's why. So to create clarity, you have to have end result, what, when, but why. Why do we do what we do? Why is this important? Why are we measuring? Why do we hit those benchmarks? You know, I was with a company and we literally went through this one exercise right here, and nobody in the management team was on the same page. Nobody thought the end numbers should be the same. No one was shooting for the same target. Clarity is what is the key to making all decisions. Later in this training, I'll be talking to you about a priority and time management program where it's going to help you gain greater clarity on every decision you make. So right now, if you have to ask yourself, do I have clarity? Does our team have clarity? Do we know where we want to go? Do we know when we want to get there? Do we know why we want to get there? Because everything I say from here on may be uncomfortable to you. It may be asking you to do some things you don't want to do. And so if you have the bottom box, then nothing is negotiable. I used to call this piece the non-negotiables because in business, in sales, there's certain things you can't negotiate with. So let's talk about the next tier. There's two things. So if you're a corporation, this is what you want to hire. If you're an individual, this is what you want to be. And if a person you bring in doesn't have these characteristics, or if you don't, you're going to struggle in owning a business and or selling. The first one is self-discipline. Now, self-discipline is when someone else doesn't have to manage you. You manage yourself. This also helps you know what to say yes to, what to say no to. What do I do at a certain time of day? Okay? What self-discipline encapsulates yes, no, time frames. I told a guy the other day, he says, I'm really not self-disciplined. And I told him, well, if you don't start to learn self-discipline, how do you make any decisions? How do you know what to do? How do you know what to say no to? And so I know that we blame the economy. I know we do. I know that we blame everyone. But so many times failure in sales has to do with not doing the right thing at the right time with the right people. Self-discipline is part and parcel to that. The second one is ambition, and maybe the most important one. Another one, if you're not getting yourself out of bed in the morning, if you don't have a fire in your belly, if you don't play for a number, if a number has to be projected to you, if somebody else has to set your goals, I'm always wary of people that during an interview say, but what do I have to do? That's not a good sign. What can I do? What is the commission here? How much can I make? Ambition is that very driver that gets you up in the morning. Ambition is the thing that gets you focused. Ambition is the thing that gets you an unfair advantage over your competition. That costs you nothing. And aren't we always looking for that competitive edge? So now in hiring people, if I'm talking to corporate people right now, you've got to measure their self-discipline and ambition, because training can take care of all the skills and processes and the procedures in selling. You can learn skills, but you cannot learn self-discipline and ambition. These are things people have got to bring to the table. So if you're hiring somebody, you need to call references. You need to find out, was this person on time all the time? Was this person hitting deadlines? Would this person show up on time? Was this person work, 40 plus hours a week? It's amazing. I read an article the other day. It was very alarming. I got it out of Success Magazine. And it said, outside salespeople average working 25 hours a week. Folks, that's not what you're looking for. When it comes to sales, it's almost you take the watch off, because so many sales happen after 5 o'clock. So those are the two ingredients that I recommend very strongly you either bring to the table or you hire. Now, the next aspect, communication skills. And I hear it all the time. I am a great communicator. And I think the mistake we make is we believe the person who talks the most is the best communicator. And so many people make the hiring mistake of choosing that outgoing, over-the-top person as thinking they're great communicators. 80% of great communications is listening. How good are we at listening? How good are we at taking our presentation and adapting it to the receiving style of another person? How good are we at, when we're on the phone, communicating in the other person's receiving style? How good are we at making sure we are adapting? Now, adapting means it's not about me. It's not the way I talk. It's not the way I listen. It's not the way I receive information. But it's about the way the client does. And so in a question, I would have to ask this. How much time have you spent in the last 2 years studying, watching YouTube videos, entering training sessions, reading on being a better communicator? Now, for us, we subscribe and we are master trainers of human behavior model that we will get into in other sessions, DISC. And whether you're using that method or another method, they're all about the same when it comes to understanding communications. Now, in the world of sales, many people focus more on the product than on the people. In fact, I was on the phone the other day with a young man, and he failed an interview because the interviewer said 90% of what you need to know is about our product. And that's really not true. You can sell any product if you know certain components of it that you will learn in all of these courses. But product knowledge is a small piece of it. But I'll tell you, you're selling to people. You're not selling to robots. You're selling to living people that have different communication styles. They have different ways they listen. In fact, in one of our sessions, we're going to be going into an in-depth training on listening. We created an entire process and procedure on how to recognize how we listen, because how we listen is how we process. And that's so vitally important. And also, how does that other person listen? Because if I know how they listen and I know their behavior stuff, I know how they process. And so you're actually going to learn how to sell to the processing style of the client. I walk into training rooms all over the world. I go in to do corporate training. People come to our boot camps. And I always say, how many people here changed their sales call, change their sales presentation based on the person you're sitting with? And they all raised their hand. And then at the end of the training, I asked the same question, and none of them raised their hand. They thought they did, because maybe they read a book on mirroring. It's bigger than that. So my recommendation, okay, first of all, you go through all the courses, okay, because we're going to go in depth into communication styles. But you become a master communicator. You become a person that absolutely master the skill of communications. Now, once you have that, now let's look at what we're building here. We start with clarity. We start with what is it that we want as a company, or what do we want as an individual? And I would recommend you put a dollar amount, a metric, something you can quantify. If you can't quantify it and you can't measure it, folks, you can't sell it. Can't sell it to yourself, can't sell it to the team. And then you put deadlines and benchmarks on every single thing you do. And for some of you, you're going, but I hate deadlines. Folks, to be in business successfully, you have to have deadlines. And then really spend time with why. Because as I get to this next session, if you want to negotiate with any of these next 4, check your why. Because if your why is wrong, you will negotiate with the next 4 things. But if your why is true, if it's secure, then you will not negotiate. So as we move forward, okay, we're going to talk about lead generation. One of the 4 pillars of this section here. Every single day, you should be generating leads. Now, we have 22 ways of generating leads. LinkedIn is our number 1 ways to generate leads. But are you proactive about lead generation? Now, some of you are sitting in companies that your company does all the lead generation. And that's great, okay? And that's fantastic. I will tell you, I've been in companies like that, and all of a sudden the lead sources slow down. And the sales reps are sitting there and nothing is happening because they've never mastered the ability to be proactive in lead generation. For you business owners, for you entrepreneurs, for you people in sales that have to generate your own leads, how many ways are you generating leads? And are they the right leads? You see, we're going to get into a section later on target marketing and value propositions, and you could be fishing in the wrong pond. So how are you qualifying? Now, here's something we do at Pici Pici, and we used to only do it, okay, once a year. And now I do it every day. We literally look at where all our revenues are coming from. Every check we get, everyone who works with us, and we backtrack it. We backtrack it to find out, where did that lead come from? That was so important. Are you doing that? Are you being very, very focused on the quality of the leads you're getting? You know, I talk to companies and they spend exorbitant amount of money sometimes on buying a list. I'm not opposed to that, but they're not getting anything out of it, and they're not saying, well, maybe this is not a good thing to do. If you're not generating money out of your leads, but you're working those leads, why do we keep doing that? And so what we do is we backtrack, we take, okay, these companies, these individuals paid us. Where did that come from? Was it a referral? Was it an outbound cold call? Was it from me being on a podcast? Was it our own podcast? Was it LinkedIn? Was it networking? I mean, there's so many ways you generate leads, but where is the cash coming from? Because if you want to be a professional business owner, if you want to be a professional in sales, if you want to crack that 6-figure mark every year, leads are going to be massively important. As my wife always says, no leads, no business. And so that's a focal point. The second focal point, and I will tell you that this is, I don't want to call it a dying art. It's not a dying art. It's an art that's never died when you know how. How many outbound calls are we making to book appointments? And so many companies and so many people I'm with, they actually have leads. They have leads, but they don't have conversions to appointments. And so what we specialize in, our focal point, is how can you pick up that phone? How can you get to the person with the checkbook? And again, if you're not making, and I always recommend people when they're first starting out, let's get to 20 calls a day. Now, that doesn't sound like anything for a call center guy or for a veteran, but in the beginning, getting that thing going. So let's get to 20, and then let's up it. You know, I know this. Calls are singularly the best way to start a relationship. Calls are the best way to start business. So are you, every day, do you have a call list? Now, here's something I recommend you do. Whatever the day is for you, I don't know when you call it a day, but the last thing you do for the day is make your call list for tomorrow. And I'm not telling you not to run off of a database. But I'm saying this, if you can extract the names and numbers you're calling and put them on a call sheet, then in a very short time, you can get through your call sheet. I have seen incredible things happen. I will show you some results that will blow your mind. And people say, how can you get those results? Whatever you focus on will improve. I personally, now, as you're seeing me, I wear a lot of hats at Pici and Pici. Dawn Pici wears a lot of hats. But I'm responsible for all the phone calls. Now, I do training, speaking, coaching. I do so many things, but I will tell you, there's never been a week that I don't make 150 outbound calls for sales. I'm not talking about follow-up calls. I'm not talking, I don't do getting to know you calls. But I do sales calls, which is a call to set up an appointment. And so how many are you doing a week? Just imagine this. If you're just in the infancy of your business, and some of you are entrepreneurs wearing multiple hats, but if you committed to 20 to 50 calls a day, then you're literally going to be making in the hundreds and hundreds of calls a month. That is so important. And understand, this is a virtual selling course. The single most valuable tool in virtual selling is the phone, because the phone sets up the meetings that create everything. Which takes me to the next one, which is called Core Story. You might call that a sales presentation. I will tell you this. If you circle this one, that will be singularly the most important metric you have in your business. How many formal sales meetings are you doing a month? That doesn't lie. Because off of those sales meetings will come proposals, SOWs. So many things happen, but nothing happens without a sales meeting. So just think, how many are you doing now? If you start really evaluating your business, if you're honest with yourself, as I am with myself, this in my office has no aesthetic value. We actually call it the war room. There's no pictures of me with famous people, you know what I'm saying? It's just whiteboards. And one of my whiteboards is Core Stories. That doesn't happen till after I do a meeting. Now, understand something. From January 2020 until this very moment, 100% of my sales meetings have been virtual. You understand? We're in a virtual world right now. Companies right now are saying, why are we flying people to Seattle to do a half an hour one-on-one? Why can't they get better skills on the phone and through a Zoom or whatever? Why can't we do the initial sales meeting virtually? Because they never have. Because the expense accounts and airline tickets and hotel rooms. How are you going to have somebody in Seattle and Chicago in the same day? Folks, literally, I have done sales meetings in Abu Dhabi, Chicago, New York, California, and Texas in the same morning, because I've become very good at doing a core story virtually. But the core story is the heartbeat. It is absolute heartbeat of your company. You want to measure success? Measure your core stories. From there, we go into priority management. Now, I've read every time management book under the sun. I think time management is good, but you cannot manage time until you learn to manage priorities. Which is the most important things I'm going to do? I'm going to get back to that in a minute, but I'm going to tell you a quick story here. In 2008, I don't know if you remember that. Some of you might be younger than that, but 2008, we had a worldwide financial implosion. I know it affected everything. It affected banks, the real estate, insurance, everything. And when the banks and money is affected, it affects every single profession out there. It really affected ours. In fact, about 90% of the full-time speakers, trainers, and coaches out there went part-time, or they got out. And Dawn and I were sitting at this national speakers convention, and I was sitting there and Dawn is sitting there, and I said, we need to go home. And she says, what do you mean? I said, I don't like to listen to celebrities and famous people whine, because what had happened was the phone stopped ringing inbound. Okay. way business was captured before was not working. And I said, look, I'm not so-and-so, and I'm not so-and-so, but we're tripling our income this year. We need to go home and find out what we're doing. Now, what I'm going to tell you is why I believe what you're seeing right here transcends all economies. What you're seeing right here is a way to attract and retain clients in good and bad economy. We went home and we decided to evaluate what are we doing. First of all, we came up with this model. This is what we were doing. But more importantly, I found an article online. It said the common denominator of business success. So you got to read that. And they did a study of the top 1,000 producers in sales that year. A lot of them came out of financial services, but they were top of the top. And they interviewed them and they said, what is it that you're doing? Well, the first cliche they threw out, well, we do what other people don't do. Well, they dug deeper. And they said, but we want to know granularly, what are you doing? They said simple. All 1,000 came up with this. The first thing we do is we are proactive. We go outbound with lead generation. We're going to spend X amount of time every day prospecting, qualifying leads, finding out who we need to talk to. The second thing, every single day, we're going to have a minimum of X outbound calls. We're going to be making outbound calls every single day to book appointments. The third thing is we're going to be doing X amount of sales meetings every single day, every single week, every single month. And the fourth thing is we're going to manage our priorities. And I'm reading that article and I said to Dawn, I figured out what we're doing. Now, we didn't know this. We hadn't read the article. But what I realized was this transcends, this works in every industry. Now, take this to the virtual market. Understand the amount of repetitions you can get selling virtually, the amount of geography you can cover, the amount of people. So if you can generate leads virtually, and virtual lead generation is becoming better and better. If you can master the telephone, booking that outbound appointment, getting a qualified appointment, you can master the virtual core story, which means you have more time and you can manage your priorities, then you have built a recession-proof business that will recapture lost revenue, that will give you an unfair advantage of all your competition. And I'm looking at right now, we are doing this, and I'm looking at a 6-month run, okay? In fact, not even a 6-month run. And I'm looking at what this model has done for us personally. So from January 1st to, say, mid-June, with using this formula, folks, using this formula, forget the amount of leads we've captured. Forget the amount of calls I had to get. Forget the amount of core stories. Those core stories have led to 162 formal proposals. Now, I just don't send out proposals. At the end of my core story, I say, do you want a formal proposal? Which means they are highly qualified, which means our closing ratios are up. Folks, 62 of those proposals have already been closed. Now, I don't say that to brag. I say that to let you know this model delivers results beyond a shadow of a doubt. You put this into a company. And as we move forward and future trainings here, you're going to see that I'm not a charisma guy, as you can tell. I don't believe you can teach charisma. I don't believe you can teach schmoozing. I'm just not that guy. But I can teach and I can execute a process and procedure over and over again. And that's what this training is about. This training that you're going to be getting is practices, procedures, processes, skills, communications. Look, it's time to understand. Do you need to fix or fire your sales team? You know, I don't know why, as a company, we tolerate average sales I just don't understand. Sales is the easiest thing to quantify. I've always believed you hire slow, you fire fast. But at some point in time, you have to do an assessment. And you can only assess if you have metrics, if you're measuring everything. And sometimes you have to make the decision. Do I need to fix these people or do I need to fire them? That may be you. Do I need to fix Joe Pici or do I need to fire him? So when you look at this entire project, let's look at this right here. This one training right here, you put yourself in this and you do everything it takes to master these things. You will, as we said before, you're going to recapture some of your lost clients. But more importantly, you're going to attract and retain new clients. You're going to equip your sales team to get better. You're going to equip your sales team to bring business in the door. Okay? And you're going to equip yourself if you're doing your own selling. And I believe every business owner should start out with sales. You'll never understand your business better. So this has been absolutely the 9 essential skills for sales success. So as we move on, have you identified any gaps in your sales skills? So as we've looked at this model, have you looked at this model and say, you know what? We need help there. You know what? We're not doing that. So have you found that? Number 2, do you sometimes get stressed out with sales goals? I see this all the time. I watch people all the time. They have a manager that sets sales goals. They set it for themselves, and all of a sudden there's stress. Well, stress on sales goals comes because we're not executing the right things. We get into busy work, not productive work. Now, are you wanting to book more appointments and close more deals? And honestly, if you say no to that, then you really are not right for growing a business. If you're not wanting to get in front of your target market, if you're not wanting to close more sales, then maybe owning a business or being in sales is not for you. Do client objections derail you? I hear it all the time. Joe, how do you overcome objections? I'm going to get that in one of the future trainings because our objections are normal and it's not something to shy away from. Are you tired of sales training programs that promise you something but give you no ROI? I can tell you countless times I've been in companies, countless people that have come to our training that have said, I spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on so-and-so's training program, on so-and-so's training methodology. It never delivered. If the answer is yes to any of the above, I've got a supercharged resource to help you crush it. So we have the Rapport Mastery Virtual Sales System, 10 content-rich courses. I'm going to show you how, in less than a week, you can become a top sales performer. Forget those long, drawn-out 12 to 20-week sales training programs. Over the past 30 years, I've been in sales training. I've created a simple step-by-step system that is easy to understand and apply. In as little as 3 days, my Rapport Mastery Virtual Sales System will have you booking appointments and closing deals. How can I say that? Quite frankly, I've been ranked in the top 30 sales trainers and speakers, actually number 1 by global gurus. And you know what John Wayne says? If it's a fact, it ain't bragging. It's just true. We have the number 1 sales training program in the world, and that's the Rapport Mastery System. See the results. This is just one of the trainings we've done. 20 participants. They booked 75% conversion to appointment, closed $149,000 in deals, sent out $2.5 million in proposals, navigated 88 gatekeepers, and received 49 return phone calls same day. And you're allowed to call any of them and check this out. Ever see any other sales training program posting results like that? I help ordinary people just like you get extraordinary results. Here's a couple testimonials. Dr. Tim Williams. Since training with Joe Pici, we have closed $303,320 in new business, and he has coached me to a 6-figure deal with a new client. Lisa Bull, she has her own placement search firm. Joe Pici has been my sales coach for 20 years. He has helped me generate literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. This is not for you if you're not open to new cutting-edge strategies. You're not ready to put in some effort to learn. You're not prepared to take action. You're not looking to expand your client base. Rapport Mastery Virtual Sales Training is perfect for those. This is your fit if you want to book more appointments, deliver more effective sales presentations. You're tired of hearing no from clients. You're looking for a proven and reliable way to close deals. You need to start making money in sales today. If your answer is yes to any of the above, keep watching to see how anyone can become a top sales performer. You've already been through the 9 essential skills for sales success. Number 2 is going to be setting up winning sales process. Number 3 is speak your client's language. 4 is active listening. 5 is rapport mastery. 6 is powerful messaging, and I believe one of the keys, which is value proposition. We're known all over the world for that. Number 7, 17 strategies for generating leads. We just talked about the importance for that. Your core story or your sales presentation. Present to close. Isn't that what it's all about? And outsmarting objections. We do corporate training. A couple corporations we've worked with. This is Ken Trupke. He is the CEO of Pro Training, CPR training firm. In only 8 weeks of training, the Pro Training sales team, only 4 members, has closed $72,395 in outbound sales. Okay, Kurt Mercadante, a branding company. In the 6 months since my sales training with Joe Pici, I have doubled my income. These are the 10 content-rich sales courses we've been over. How can I make this better? I decided to throw in 4 bonus courses. Bonus course number 1, valued at $197. Navigate the gatekeeper. Overcome gatekeeper objections and gatekeeper script template. This is the number 1 question I get all the time. Bonus course number 2, valued at $197. Get your voice and email return. Finally, a proven method for reaching decision makers. Bonus course number 3, valued at $197. Priority and time management course. Maximize priority and accomplish more without adding more. And bonus course number 4, valued at $197, the focus board. Get on track, stay on track with accountability program and tool. Total value of these 4 bonus courses, $788. Bonus 5, the Rapport Mastery Virtual Sales Workbook, contains materials from our award-winning bootcamp, $120 value. Bonus 6 is our discharge. We have lots of downloads. This download are the behavioral selling, how you sell to each behavior style. The value is $34.97. Here's the recap of everything you'll receive today. The Rapport Mastery Virtual Sales System, 10 complete courses, training in the skills essentials for sales success. Purchased separately, you would have to spend $2,270. But order now and you will pay much less than that. The 4 bonus courses, Navigating Gatekeeper, Get Your Voice and Emails Returned, Priority and Time Management, the Focus Board, that value is $788. The Sales Bootcamp Workbook is valued at $120. The flip charts are valued at $34.97. That brings the total package value of $3,212. But if you respond now, you are not going to pay that. You will pay much less. All right, it's effective sales training, but what's it going to cost? If you were in our sales boot camp, you would find out that most of the information here virtually is from that boot camp. Seats are $2,500 each, and I'm always sold out. This is some of the results we've got from one of our boot camps. As you can see, 70 gatekeepers, we navigated them. We closed $30,000 in business. We had a 70% conversion appointment on 500 calls. I should be selling this package for $3,000. The normal price in our industry for comprehensive courses like these, without any of the bonuses, as much as $4,500. However, much more important than a price are the results this training can provide you and your team. Rapport Mastery Virtual Sales. Larry Sutton is the CEO and founder of R&R Tire Express out of Tampa, Florida. The sales training from Joe Pici increased our revenue 4 times more than the training cost. That's what I call Great ROI. Because you are watching this, your price is only $1,297. That's right. You'll receive 14 courses workbook download for only $1,297. Why should I sell this? My 30-year sales experience for an unbelievable low price. Time is of the essence. The new economy has devastated many markets. Sales professionals can gain instant access to a proven system and increase their sales now. This is one of my corporate trainings, a small group out of Lakeland, Florida. Look at the results they got. They had never made outbound calls. Convenience. Not everybody has the time and finances to experience one of my award-winning boot camps. The online version delivers top sales program to you. Affordability. For the same price as only 3 hours of my virtual coaching, you can take advantage of the quality, skill-based training equal to 3 days of training in my Rapport Mastery Sales Bootcamp. Package value is $3,212. Act now, and your price is only $1,297. Think of all the sales that may have slipped through the cracks. Why not put yourself in a position to close those deals and increase your volume? Click now. I want more sales. Enroll me now button below. When you do, you'll reach a safe and secure order page. Simply add your info. I'm looking forward to working with you. Hey, if you have any questions on how this virtual sales program would work in a corporate pricing, contact me at 407-947-2590. I always answer my own phone. I am really looking forward to working with you. If you want more information about sellmorevirtually.com, take out your phone and type in the word Sales Edge. One word, send it to 55678, and it'll take you to a link, take you to a splash page. There's a lot of free downloads on there, but there is a link to sellmorevirtually.com that'll explain everything we do virtually. Have a great day, and let's work together.